Welcome, everybody. Please stand in body or spirit as we sing our gathering hymn, number 1011 in your teal hymnal, Return Again. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough, where we constantly strive to be an open and welcoming congregation to all who seek community and support. We don't worship in one specific way each week, and we don't require that we all adhere to one specific creed or common belief, but rather we are a covenant community, committed to loving and supporting each other in our individual, lifelong quest for truth and meaning in matters of our personal faith. So whoever you are, member, friend, or guest, and for whatever reason you came to join us today, whether you're here in person or online, we welcome you. My name is Heather Kraft, and I'm the worship coordinator for today's service. As a lay-led congregation, there are a lot of people that make every service possible, and we want to give a big and heartfelt thank you to all of them. Today is our Dia de los Muertos service. It's not a traditional service with a speaker, but a time when any who wish to remember someone who has passed are invited to come up and share. If you don't want to share out loud, there will be a time where you can come up in silence as well. Before we create our time for worship, let's take a moment to share important announcements. First of all, it's a really good time to make sure that your cell phone is in worship mode or silent. Secondly, we will have coffee hour afterwards in the back here in the sanctuary. Please stay and enjoy, and then please stay a little bit longer and help me set up for the carnival this evening, because it's going to be so much fun. All right, so the rest of the announcements should be on the back of your order of service, and as always, they are in full detail in our e-news. Are there any other announcements?
So this is very spur of the moment, but my son is here visiting from Asheville, and when he goes back today, we are thinking about purchasing some propane heaters to take to a specific distribution center in the mountains in a rural area. And so I was just going to run to Home Depot after the service. And if anybody would like to contribute to that, I would greatly appreciate it. And I can tell you about how to give you the money afterwards. It could be either check or Venmo. So thank you.
When we can bring to you.
Hi y'all. I broke my foot. I'm leaving early today because I can't drive and my ride is leaving, which means I can't take photos. And y'all know how much I love photos. So please, 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 please pull out your phones, take lots of pictures at service, at setup for the Halloween Carnival and at the Halloween Carnival itself. I prefer photos that don't have faces of young visitors. We don't want faces of children that don't belong to the congregation, because I'd like to publish some of these. But please take photos, please. I love you. Thank you. Email them to me at programadmin@uuchnc.org, or you can use the regular admin@uuchnc.org account, but that one isn't actually mine, so I don't check it as much. I think that's all. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Hi there, G for Justice. Today we are having the Justice meeting in the yurt after the coffee hour. I would just like to invite anybody, if anyone has anything that they want to bring to the attention of the Justice team for us to discuss and think about what we could do, please come along. It's an open invitation.
Okay, we will now create our sacred space by lighting our chalice, the UU symbol for the light of truth that each of us seeks, the light of hope that each of us brings, and the eternal light of love. Jacob.
Here it is. There's the chalice. I didn't see it.
Our chalice lighting words are "We Gather to Remember" by Nicole McKay. We gather to remember those who could not grow old, and those forced to grow old long before their time. We gather to mourn and grieve with one another all of our losses, the people, the stories, the loved ones, and the future that could have been. We gather to do the hard work of facing the difficult realities of our present and our past, where there is conflict, violence, war, and hatred. We gather to hold space for silence as we try to make meaning of our history, to help us work for peace and justice today. We gather to rekindle our source of hope for our future by recognizing in one another our shared community as we join in a concerted commitment for a better tomorrow. We gather because we need community to do all of this holy work. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 336 in your gray hymnals, All My Memories of Love.
All the souls
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take some time to reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud, while others choose to remain silent. Here, we make room for both. After sharing, everyone is invited to drop a stone into the vase, which is over here today. This symbolizes the communal connection and collection of our experiences. By taking this time to share, we strengthen the bonds between us. If you would like to share aloud, please take a moment and a deep breath to center and collect your thoughts so that what you share is personal, heartfelt, and brief. When you're ready, you can come forward, tell us your name, and share what's in your heart. And when you're finished, don't forget to drop a stone. If you're joining us online and there's something you would like to share, please type it into the chat and let us know if you'd like it read aloud, and we'll be happy to share for you. I'm going to go first. We hold all of these things within the heart of this community, both spoken and unspoken, by remaining silent for a moment as we consider what has been shared and how we might respond. We're going to close together with Amen and blessed be. Amen and blessed be. So today, we are gathered to celebrate Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, All Hallows Eve, the day when many believe the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. And I know that's not actually today, but we're talking about it today. The theme of the month is deep listening. And this got me thinking about the idea that a lot of cultures hold that people stay alive as long as they are remembered and their stories are told. One of the things I'm most grateful for is having taken the time to listen to my grandparents when they talked about their parents and their childhoods. Their memories were always told with such passion and love. And now I get to tell our children their stories. Our children get to know how my great-grandpa Jacob was a first-generation immigrant who scrimped and saved to have enough to buy a ring for his beloved. How she wore that ring her entire life and then gave it to her daughter, my grandma. How that ring came to me when she passed. And now I get to wear it as a symbol of my marriage to the love of my life. And then I will get to pass it on to my daughter. Stories like that not only make this ring even more special, but they help us know where we came from, and they give our lives context. I love the stories of my family. I'm glad that the love that came before me is channeled through me and into generations to come by continuing to tell the stories of our ancestors. Many cultures throughout history have honored their ancestors in different ways. Some build ofrendas, some tell stories around the fire, some built pyramids to make sure the world would never forget their kings. The central idea around all of this, most of this, is that you can only really know yourself if you know where you came from. In the Bible, there are entire books dedicated to family history. If you've ever read the Bible, then you're familiar with long lists of the son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, the son of Terah, and so on. Today, there's lots of sites that will trace your ancestors for you, because not all of us can do that by finding written records. For whatever reason, those records may not be available. The fact that these sites are so popular shows the universal importance of knowing where we came from. This congregation was founded not so very long ago, historically speaking, but we also have a story that I hope will be told for generations to come in these walls. The stories are not only about who we are and where we come from, but about the people that helped create those of us that are here. Today we honor and remember all of those who have come before us and are now gone. First, we're going to have some time where if you would like to, you are welcome to come up, share about whoever it is, and place their photo on our altar as a remembrance. At about 11:15, 11:10, we're going to have a silent time when if you have a memory you'd like to bring up, you're welcome to do so. So anyone who would like to, please come share.
I'm Don, and I made the mistake of already putting the picture up on the altars. That's my picture. My Danny is on the right. That's actually me, but I'm still alive. So it's Danny. He was my best friend, and I met him through pagan circles, and he introduced me to the runes I now celebrate runes every weekend. I go into the sacred circle in the woods. And the 3 runes he gave me were Ansus, Eiwaz, and Ingus. And I especially, Eiwaz especially has a lot of meaning for me because one of its meanings is endurance, and Eiwaz keeps me going. And Danny passed away January of 2021 of pancreatic cancer, which he had off and on for 8 years. We thought he had beat it for a while, but then it came back, and he was my best friend. I miss him a lot. I still think about him at least twice a week. When I'm at the bus stop at Rainy Avenue, every Wednesday, because he liked Odin a lot, and that's Odin's Day, Wednesday. And so every Wednesday morning, I sing some of the songs that I sang at his memorial service. Thanks.
This is Bridie Palmore, and this holiday, Halloween, is a special holiday for her because she claimed to be a witch. Now, a good witch, of course. Now, I've never actually seen her flying around on a broom, but she could be witchy at times. So, today is a special day, and this is a special witch.
These are the 2 Amys that preceded me. This one would have been my grandmother, born in the late 18th century, 19th, 20th, early, maybe, late 18th century. And she was very much a Victorian, very rigid, so we're told. And her name is spelled A-M-Y. Then my mother, she died before my mother had her first child. So my mother never had a mother to help her along. Now, something I didn't appreciate at the time, but I appreciate now. So then my mother came along, and the story goes, well, I'd always been curious because we would go to the cemetery in Brooklyn, and we would see the A-M-Y on one of the tombstones. But it wasn't until after my mother died, and I was visiting with my uncle, her brother, and he said to me, would you like to know why you're named A-I-M-E-E and not A-M-Y? And I said, yes, I've always been curious about that. And he said that as a teenager, she went to the courthouse and legally had her name changed from A-M-Y to A-I-M-E-E. The lesson from that is I don't think they got along really well. Here she was, a Victorian, and my mother was very much into the speakeasies. So this is part of my heritage that I treasure. siblings are getting along in age.
Well, I'll follow a little bit what Heather was talking about, grandparents who leave their mark on us. I brought pictures of both my grandmother on my father's side, Cecilia Jane White Yelton, and my grandfather on my mother's side, John Francis Pyatt. The reason I don't have pictures of the others, I'm just celebrating those that I had experiences with in this life. Both of my other grandparents, their mates were gone by the time I was born. Cecilia Jane, who they called Daisy, or Miss Jenny, they had several nicknames for her, she was around, but she was older by the time I was aware of relatives and family. But I remember I always measured my growth on the buttons that she had she had a button dress that went all the way down. Must have had about 20 buttons of the old dresses of the early 20th century. And each time I would see her, which would be maybe once a month or so, she lived with one of my aunts in Hickory, where I grew up. She didn't live with us, but she was in the town. So I would see her every month or every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and it would always measure to see if I'd come up a button on growth. So I measured my growth in life on what Granny told me which button I was on. She used to call me Little Billy because my father was William Yelton, and he was the youngest of 8 children. So by the time she had her Little Billy, she probably lost track of names after a while. So I became Little Billy because I was William's son. So she was a sweet lady. And my grandfather, more impactful on my life because he actually lived with us. About 3 years before I was born, he came to live with my parents and my 2 older sisters in Hickory. He had been in Atlanta before that time, originally from New York, but he moved to the South in about the turn of the century, in 1900. Grandpa was my sports partner. We actually he was quite well physically, even into his 70s and early 80s, and so during his late 70s, he was my baseball partner. He would throw pitches with me, and I would bat the ball a little bit. And the lesson I learned from life was that he was a fairly simple man, but he kept his life going by correspondence with friends all over the place. He was a fabulous letter writer and had friends all over the United States, particularly the East Coast. But he would sit down probably each Friday night, and slowly and carefully in his penmanship, he would correspond with friends he had in New York, Florida, people that had lived in Hickory or Atlanta and moved to other parts of the country. So that was a gift that he gave to me, to stay in touch with friends, make new friends, and he just had a life to live after he had given up his career, and he just continued living life to the ripe old age of 94, and have fond memories of him.
This is my mother, Eileen Louise Daylor Butler. She was the only daughter of a farmer and his wife who immigrated from Germany. They lived in Illinois in a very tiny township. So she had 5 brothers. And she was the only one who left that very small town in Illinois she went to the University of Illinois and met my father and moved to the East Coast, and so we were always the big city cousins. We would go back and visit our cousins in Illinois every summer and sometimes other times during the year. I had a hard time finding a picture of her without someone else in it. She was a true introvert, as are most of my family, and most of the pictures I have of her, other than when she was very young, are with my father or someone else in the family. She was a wonderful cook, a great seamstress. Later in life, she did a lot of crocheting, and a lot of her mothering I did not appreciate until I was a mother. And then I realized how much she had actually done for all of us. She was a teacher before she was married, and then stayed home with all three of her children. And then when my brother was out of the house, she went back and became a library aide in an elementary school for many years. So she was not a person who you would see a lot, because she, like I said, she was an introvert. She did a lot kind of behind the scenes, and she made just a wonderful family.
So of course I forgot the picture, but this is Lisa. Lisa was my wife who passed away almost a year ago. Lisa was a medical legal death investigator. She performed autopsies, she went to crime scenes. So I'll tell you a funny Halloween story. We had skulls everywhere in the house because she did a lot of teaching with young people who were interested in forensic science. Most of them are not real. Few of them are. And about 5 years before she passed away, she had gone to teach a class at Alamance Community College. So she had a box in her truck that had all kinds of bones and stuff in it, one of which was a skull. And a few days after she taught the class, she was going to take her truck in to have it serviced. Totally forgot about the box in the truck. So I'm home because I work remotely, and I get this frantic phone call from Cox Dodge. And the gentleman was just beside himself, and he said, "You need to tell your wife to come get this truck." Okay, is it done? No, we haven't started it. There's bones in it. There's a head in it. And I'm like, okay. Well, it wasn't a head per se, but it was a skull. Poor man, totally freaked out, totally. So my funny Halloween story is, if you take your vehicle to get it serviced, do not leave a box with a skull in it, because it will freak people out. I miss her greatly. She was pretty special.
I did not come with a picture. I didn't come with a plan. I'm very underprepared in general for this service, but I wanted to say a few words to the benefit of my Uncle Frank, who was one of the strangest people I've ever known, and deeply proud of it. He was a nurse, and he owned a ranch of emus that he kept just because he liked them. He liked the birds. He had the biggest indoor aquarium I'd seen of just all sorts of fish, and specifically his Plecostomus was very sweet. Would follow your finger if you traced it along the side of the glass. I always remember how proud he was of the various things he did that people found quite strange. As kids, we'd call him Crazy Uncle Frank, partially on his urging. And I am really grateful to him for helping me learn the lesson to be proud of what makes me strange.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I brought a picture of my dad and me. Most of the pictures that I have of my dad in my house are of us together. So I brought a picture of my dad and me. I was probably around 13 years old here. My dad died when I was 22, and so he never met my children, but I try to be a parent to my children the way that he was to me.
This was a kind of last minute decision for me, so I made a rock. But this is a drawing of one of my close friend dogs named PETA, and his owner looked away from him for a few seconds, and he ended up getting hit by a car. She took him to the vet, but the vet couldn't help him, and he ended up dying.
Thank you for everyone who has shared. For anyone who brought a memento that they want to bring up, now we will have a few moments of silence. Each week, we take up a monetary offering which supports our social justice work in the community. This month, our community partner is Orange Congregations in Mission, or OCIM. You can donate by putting cash or a check in the basket. Please make checks out to UUCH and put plate in the subject line. You can also donate by going online to our website, uuchnc.org, or scanning the QR code in your order of service. Please join me in the prayer of collective gratitude found in your order of service. For the love that surrounds us every morning, for the friends beside us, and for the generous gifts just received, let us be truly grateful. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our closing hymn, number 1001, in your teal hymnal, Breaths.
Listen more often to things than to be. Listen more often to things than to be. 'Tis the ancestors' prayer when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' prayer in the voice of the waters. Those who have died and never, never lived, the dead are not under the earth. They are in the rusted trees, they are in the groaning woods, they are in the crying grass, they are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' prayer when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' prayer in the voice of the waters. Sound. 'tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters.
Our closing words are That Which Is Worthy of Doing by Steve J. Crump. That which is worthy of doing, create with your hands. That which is worth repeating, speak with a clear voice. That which is worthy of remembering, hold in your hearts. And that which is worthy of living, go and live it now. As we extinguish the chalice, please join me in the closing words found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, my friends, and blessed be.
Remember, if anybody wants to help me with getting the propane heaters.
What? Okay,
She doesn't need it right now.
we're taking a witchy picture.
A witch shirt.
Come be in the picture.
And buzzer.
Witches and wizards.
That's not canon.
Annabelle, are you a witch? Oh, that's right.
Don't want cookies.
3, 2, say.
Ha ha ha.
Voice from Gryffindor.
Thank you. Can you get one of us as well? In our matching.
Oh yeah, that one does have my name tag in it.
Uh-huh.
That's like in a photo of Rickman Jones' name, but he does this blue line. That falling in his head.
Let's move over a little bit.
A little bit.
Ouchie. That's about
There's a snake on your boot.
Thank you. Jacob, Mary, come here. Gee, can I get you to do a picture on my phone of the four of us? Or on yours, since I have the Isle of Wight States.
Our girls team.
It's a small school, so it's it's not very
You want me to do serious face again? I'm looking at Aviva.
I'm sorry.
Look, you did.
Thank you.
I'll get this away for you.
Thank you.
Well, in general, it's just the ball everybody's gonna be fast there pretty much.
That was me, I love my cheese.